Should we start? Hello, my name's Markus, and I'm joined on stage here with Yasushi, and we're going to talk about the newest member of the City Science Network, San Francisco. Sorry. I don't think it's working. There we go. So, San Francisco is, newest member of City Science Network, San Francisco. So San Francisco has always been known by images like this: the Golden Gate Bridge, trolley cars, Alcatraz, but more and more it's becoming noticed by images like this: homelessness, boarded up downtown. So the question is, why are we going to San Francisco? What's in San Francisco? So San Francisco represents most problems present in North American cities today. A lot of that stems from long bureaucratic processes, some of them lasting almost 600 days, which is very optimistic when you look at more statistical data, which brings it almost to 1,000 days to get new housing projects approved. It has the second highest cost of living in North America, which is exacerbating the housing problem in the city. And typical protests like this are almost weekly in front of City Hall, right? And it has a very broken consensus process where stakeholders typically cannot agree on a way forward in San Francisco. This was from a recent article outlining, is San Francisco doomed? And all of this is leading to a crisis which is exacerbating inequality, housing, and homelessness. So current North American zoning is very rigid. It's very functional. It's governed by density. It's governed by form. And what we're trying to do is, it also has a very political angle for approval processes. Processes that are either market-driven, like Houston, or legal entitlements, which are very rigid, like New York, or negotiated on a very parcel-by-parcel basis, which contributes to time. And San Francisco is very similar to Boston, and this leads to a very political challenge in these cities. So what we're trying to do is look what's beyond political zoning, what's beyond this process, and how do we create a process, which Ken's going to talk a lot more about, that leverages incentives between urban stakeholders and really looks at the value proposition of land entitlements in cities. There's huge potential to unlock value if we can figure out a mechanism for zoning. And really what we're trying to do is understand how that added value can be distributed between public and private initiatives. And this is a very challenging problem, but we figure in San Francisco we can start working on what these public amenities and services need to be, and what the private levers need to be to unlock a lot of that value, to create a mechanism of distributing this added potential in cities.
Thank you, Markus. So, talk about upzoning in San Francisco. This is the latest upzoning map from the San Francisco Planning Department. Can you really imagine what the city would look like after this plan is approved? I don't think so. It's hard. On the other hand, we have these kind of images circulating the internet, which you have like virtual tofu buildings that's never going to be realized. But this is fair because it's unclear and it's scary. So we decided to kind of jump into one region in this little red area. This has a very major transportation corridor called Gary Boulevard, and it's a nice local business, cute corridor called Gary. If you look into it, now you see that the upzoning plan has 6 stories, 8 stories, or maybe even 14 stories. If you walk down the road, it's typically 2, 4, or very rarely 6, so it's certainly an upzoning plan. We sampled this strip of this region, and quickly, right off, like from the start, these parcels are off the ground, off the table, because this is either historical or in San Francisco, it's very difficult to redevelop a housing unit that has more than 4 units. But what we're doing here is to kind of combine this God's eye planner's view into street view and actually looking into what kind of buildings we have. The second step is these narrow buildings. Even if you build maximum height allowance, it's not economically viable because of the current building code. But you see that these smaller buildings is actually characterizes this neighborhood's vibe. These two steps are very simple. This is just filtering, but we're left with very few parcels. This is, again, easy. We sometimes try to use fancy tools like K-means, maybe sometimes LLMs and through HTTP requests, but we quickly understood that this is actually crucial to explain these steps to add more transparency for the residents. And this is work from Leticia, from our group. Now we can, combining with these image generation tools, we can show possible futures using LLMs. This is a community engagement that we just did 2 weeks ago. I think this is important. We should do this more often through, again, these tools for running interviews and also surveys what kind of public benefit we would want to see in exchange with density. Thank you.